welcome to Blaq'd Sports. Let's talk ish. Uh, I had to wait a little while and compose myself before I came and did this. This is really gonna be like my inaugural uh, video. Um, I had to process what I watched earlier, um, and I'm still not completely sure that I've processed the whole thing. Um, Here we are again, another year of high expectations. A lot of people saying, "Man, this felt different. This year seems different." And I kept saying to myself the whole season because I've kind of gotten um, accustomed to the Cowboys having good seasons, but yet it never pans out to do anything. It's been 29 years since the Cowboys have you know, been to the Super Bowl. Um, and that's a long time, Um, my son say to me, Daddy, you love the Cowboys, but they don't ever win anything. And I'm like, well, in your lifetime, not they have not. But um, it gets hard every year. Uh, it gets hard every year. But we're not alone. At the end of the season, there's 31 other teams, 31 other fan bases that are disappointed that their team didn't make it. And there's 17 out of, I'm sorry, there's 15 out of 16 teams that make it to the playoffs who are disappointed. Am I getting that right? Two, four, six, seven? No, it's only 14 teams. So there's 13 out of 14 teams that make it to the playoffs who get disappointed. So at some point, someone's gonna be disappointed. But for us as Cowboys fans, we've been getting disappointed now here for the last 29 years. I even thought that once they finally went ahead and put Jimmy into the Ring of Honor, maybe our fortunes would change. Well, that's not the case. Jimmy doesn't play, and Jimmy's not coaching. So um, it's so unfortunate as a fan, man, because it's hard. It's hard being a fan of any fan base, seriously. But it's been real hard as a Cowboys fan because they wear the label of America's team. So I know there's a lot of people that are fans of the teams that may not honor that name, but it is. It's what it is. And because of that, they get a lot of attention. I mean, most recognized the NFL logo by far. Most recognized sports logo, the most expensive or most, what you want not say most expensive, the most valuable NFL franchise of all sports. So, yeah, you're going to catch a lot of flack, especially if you're not winning. And I'm not just talking about regular season winning. We're talking about winning. We're talking about winning in the playoffs, winning, going to the Super Bowl, hoisting those trophies. That's what's important. Dak said after the Washington game, once they clinched the NFC East, he didn't want to wear the hat that said NFC East champion because he wanted to wear a different hat. Well, it didn't seem that way today. You have to explain to me as a fan or a person who once played the sport and who watches the sport from inside out, make me understand how you change your defensive philosophy in probably the most important game of the year. I mean, the Cowboys have been known to be a team that played man mostly, and somehow, for some reason, in this game, they came out playing zone. And we're getting, you know, getting moved on easily. You have a defense that at the beginning of the year, man, was shutting people down. But somewhere here along the end of the year, they just stopped. You couldn't stop a Buffalo team. I mean, they ran all through you. I'm not going to say you didn't necessarily stop the Miami team. I will say, however, that You didn't stop them when you needed to stop them. You did very well against Detroit, even though there was some controversy in it. And now at this point, we all know that the controversy wasn't necessarily on the Cowboys' side. It was controversy because of whatever happened, but that's over. Um, Against Washington, you go and you light it up, give us hope that yeah, this is different. This is different. And then you come out in your playoff game against a Green Bay team that had to win its last game in order to get into the playoffs. And granted, they've been playing well. Jordan Love has been playing very well. I think maybe the Cowboys took them a little bit for granted because they were young and hadn't had any experience. They were just thinking that maybe they would come in and they would, would experience and overwhelm things. But that didn't happen. It's the NFL. Any given Sunday, it can happen. So you got to be prepared and ready. How you, as the Dallas Cowboys, get the number 2 seed and get probably the best chance that you've had since 1995 to have a path to the Super Bowl. Because if you win game 1 at home, you get game 2 at home. And if you win game 2, then the NFC Championship game, you're in it. You have a shot. But you don't take care of business. I was always saying, hey, it doesn't mean anything if the Cowboys don't take care of business. And they didn't take care of business. They came out and got beat in all phases today. It was unbelievable what we were watching out there. It was unbelievable to see the defense, this highly touted defense. Michael Parsons, man, a candidate for Defensive Player of the Year, all pro. Being compared to LT. What was he at? Did he play? Did he play in this game? I heard him say in an interview prior to the game he was going to be phenomenal. Phenomenal at what? You didn't do anything. There was no sack. There was no real pressure. You finally got a couple of holding penalties. Congratulations. You're off that. But as far as what did you do? You didn't do anything. Penalties. This has got to be the most undisciplined team ever. Penalties. When it looks like you're making a positive play, it's negated by penalties every single time. When it looks like you're making a move, penalties every single time. I don't understand that. You guys are professional athletes, man. You have led the league in penalties for 3 years. 3 years. Is nobody not coaching that or addressing that particular issue? I mean, at some point you got to say, okay, enough is enough. That's coaching. And you come out and you can't stop the run. You can't stop the pass. There were times in this game receivers were wide open. I mean, Jordan Love was literally throwing off his back foot to wide open guys that there was nobody within 10, 15 yards of them. Wide open. And then the run, man. What is it? The linebackers, our linebackers are really safeties that are converted, playing out of position and out of place. That was okay when we were beating up on the teams that wasn't as good as playoff teams. Because in the playoffs, every team is going to be good because they didn't get there. They didn't get there because they wasn't good. They got there because they were pretty good teams. And then Dak Prescott. You made all pro. Man, I made a comment during the game to a friend of mine. I said, man, he looks like a deer in headlights again. There's that look, that deer in headlights look. There it is. It's like the moment was too big. Dak, you've won playoff games in this league. You've played in playoff games in this league. These moments should not be too big for you, man. You shouldn't look nervous. You shouldn't look shocked. You shouldn't look like you don't know what's going on out there on the field, man. You've been in the game. You've been in the NFL for 8 years, bro. 8. A starter for 8 years. You played in, I believe, 7 playoff games, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right? No, is it 7? You're 2-5. So yeah, I think it's 2-5. You're 2-5 in playoff games. 1-3 at home. 1-3 at home. Nobody gives a damn. Nobody gives a damn about regular season stats. Who cares? It's what you do in the playoffs that make your name for you. It's what you do when the lights shine brightest that determines what you are. And it's beginning to look like the lights get too bright. And this is just the first round. It's the wild card round. The lights seem to be getting too bright for you. I don't want to put it all on Dak. But those 2 interceptions were costly. That was what, 13, 14 points? That was costly. And that's before halftime. You don't throw those 2 interceptions. Now, I'm not saying that Green Bay would have gotten the ball back and not scored those points, but if you don't throw those interceptions, possibly you take 13, 14 points off the board, period. And it's a different game at halftime. It's either 14-7 or 13-7 going into halftime, if everything played out the same. And it's a different game. You're one of the biggest players. The biggest players show up at the biggest moments. You let Jordan Love, this is his first year starting, very first year starting in the league. He's only been in the league, 3 years? It's his very first year starting in the league. And he comes in and lights it up. Damn near perfect rating. No mistakes. Dak, you've been in the game for 8 years, man. These moments shouldn't be too big for you. I'm going in. I'm sorry if people don't agree. It is what it is. These moments should not be that big for you. You should be ready for them. But for some reason, you're not. You're not ready for them. You're not ready. You made it to the Cowboys had the number 1 seed your rookie year. A 13-3 team. And you played good enough in that game that gave people hope that, man, maybe we have one here. Even though you lost that game, you played very well in that game. But we haven't seen that since, man. You have to be a leader. You have to be a leader. The running game wasn't working, but we were still trying to make that happen. Watching all year, man, you said that was going to be an issue. We said that penalties were going to be an issue. All of those things came into play. Everything that you can think of came into play today. Undisciplined play, penalties, lack of a running game, lack of being able to stop the run, not covering on the back end. I don't know if you guys just played too tight, too tense. I don't know. I cannot put a finger on what I saw out there today. I don't know because I wasn't expecting it. I expected it would be a good game, but I felt that being at home, understanding the moment, I felt like this team understood the moment. I was wrong. I was wrong. We're the same old team. Year in, year out, same thing. And what do you do to change that? Do you make a coaching change? Why? This coach has won 12 games for 3 straight years. He's won 12 games, three straight years. What do? You'll find another coach to do what? Who are you going to get? Bill Belichick? Bill Belichick comes in, the whole philosophy changes. Everything changes. Do you want to start back over at square one? you're surely going to lose Dan Quinn. And, for the most part, after the way he called this game today, so be it. Good luck wherever you end up. Thank you for the time. Thank you for developing these young players. But, wherever you go, I hope that the team that you get understand the moment. They understand that when playoffs are different, that's when you take it to a whole nother level. And this defense did not take it to the next level. Whether it be the players, whether it be the coach didn't coach at the next level, I got to say all of it. The coach didn't coach to the next level. The players didn't play to the next level. They didn't understand the moment. Now, it doesn't help when your quarterback kind of puts you in a bind and you're playing from behind. You're kind of playing catch up. But let's be real. You guys wasn't stopping them from the start. From the very jump, even before the turnovers. You wasn't stopping them anyway. They were already up, 14-0? They'd already walked down the field twice. The interceptions, the 2 interceptions for just didn't help. The pick six definitely didn't help. So here we are. You didn't look good. It just another year of the same old, and what are you to do with that? What can you do with that? You can't. What do you do with that? What's the next move? Get rid of the coach, okay? Who are you going to bring in? If you bring him in, what's the philosophy of the team? How do you do that? All right? I believe Dak has 1 year left on his contract. Okay, so if you're going to retain Dak, are you ready to give him, $40, $50 million a year? If so, then how do you develop your team? You got CeeDee Lamb that needs to get paid. You got Michael Parsons that needs to get paid. You got who else? Who do you want to retain? Do you want to keep Gilmore around? Darren Bland you're going to eventually have to pay Darren Bland. Do you keep Tony Pollard as the running back? Where do you go? What's the next move? What's the next move for this team? And that's going to be the question. What happens now? What do we do now? As we get ready to prepare for the next training camp. How is this team going to look? Is it going to look vastly different? Is there going to be another coach that we're coming in and having to work around, or what's going on? What's going to happen? Just very disappointed in what we saw. As a fan, just disappointed, man. I don't know. I don't really know how else to quantify it or anything like that. It's just very disappointing when you watch what we watched out there. When it looks like the team wasn't giving maximum effort, and that's just basically what it looked like. It just doesn't look like maximum effort was given. I don't play. I'm not on the field, so I don't know. I'm pretty sure you guys were trying your hardest. It didn't look like it. They put up 48 points on you in a playoff game. A first-time starter. A guy who's starting in the NFL for the first time, his first full year as a starter, came into AT&T Stadium on a Sunday night and lit you up. And Aaron Jones, I don't know what to say. If I'm Aaron Jones, I'm asking the people that does the schedule, hey, put the Cowboys on our schedule every year. Every year. This guy, he burns us every year. I think this is the third straight game I've seen him put up 3 touchdowns in a game. I think over the last 3 games with the Cowboys, he scored 9 touchdowns, 3 in each one of them. So if I'm him, I'm like, hey, can we play them every year? Can we play them like every time? Because I can guarantee that's going to be one of my better games. And he's from Texas. So that's what I'm saying, man. That's all I'm saying is that it's to that point that you don't know you don't know what's going on. Yeah, I don't know how to talk. I don't know what to say. All right, I just know that it's another year of disappointment. It's another year where my son can say to me, "Daddy, they don't win anything." So I hate that. I hate that. I hate to have to listen to all the commentary that we're going to hear. Everything they're going to say about the Cowboys are the same old Cowboys, or they can't win anything when it comes to playoffs. They only beat up on mediocre teams, and they can't do anything when it's time when the lights come bright. Everything, but you know what? They're 100% right as of to this point. Since 1995, they're right. They're 100% right. This is exactly who we are. There was a lot of high expectations for this year. A lot of people felt like that it was cursed because Jimmy Johnson hadn't been put into the Ring of Honor. Well, that happened this year. Guess that wasn't it. It just boils down to an attitude. The thing about the team of the '70s, which I wasn't around for a whole lot of that, uh, is that those guys played hard for each other. The team of the '90s, I was all up in that. That team played hard. They all played hard for one another. They all played hard for one another. The Cowboys were definitely the team of the '90s. And whenever if they went into the playoffs, man, you had a lot of confidence in what was going to happen. They were well coached. They played very well. They brought it. They made sure that they brought it every single time. But this version of the Cowboys that we've been seeing for the last 29 years or so, I can't even remember a time where I was truly confident in when we went into the playoffs that we actually had a shot. I think 2014 when Dez caught it, but they said he didn't. That was the only other year that I can say that, man, it looks like that we had a team that was constructed to win something. But they said Dez didn't catch it, so we don't know how that would have went had they said he caught it. That rookie year with Dak and all of them, I was one of those people that felt like they should have put Tony Romo back in because he was a veteran, and maybe he would have handled the situation a little bit better. But they didn't, and of course they end up losing to Aaron Rodgers. Do you realize I just found out a stat that I didn't know? Uh, Ever since AT&T Stadium has been around, the Green Bay Packers have not lost a game at AT&T Stadium. Have not lost a game at AT&T Stadium. Matter of fact, they've won the only Super Bowl that's been played at AT&T Stadium, and it was won by Mike McCarthy. But they have not lost a game at AT&T Stadium. So if I'm the Green Bay, hey, let's play there every time. Whether it be the playoffs or Super Bowl or, just if we just out there playing a preseason game, we just know that we'll beat Dallas. That's just kind of what they can say right now. I know I'm in my feelings, man. Y'all got to forgive a brother. I don't want to get too emotional because, like I said, for me, it's always what are they going to do in the playoffs? Not about 12-5 records or well, that's all good and everything. They can have a 9-7 record. And I just want to see what are you going to do in the playoffs? And time again, since 1995, after 1995, this is what we get. So stew on it for a while. Let it sit. Let it marinate. Find another team in the playoffs to cheer for because it ain't the Cowboys. And let it sting for a minute. Get over it and move on. We got to move on to the next thing. All right, that's it. That's my first Blaq'd Out Sports. So let's talk ish. Make sure you guys like the channel if you would for me, please. Like and subscribe. I intend to do this more often, and it's not just about sports. When I say let's talk ish, we're talking ish. We're talking about everything. Entertainment, all of it. We're going to get everything. You may just see the logos back here, but we're not just talking sports. We may talk about a lot of things in sports, but I touch on all topics. We're going to talk about everything that's in the news, that's in the entertainment news. We'll touch on it, all right? The name is Dwayne Blaq'd. Appreciate you guys checking it out. Please check it out. Pass it on. Tell a friend to tell a friend. And y'all have a great one. Until the next time we meet, may God keep and hold you. I'm out.